Hello, good morning or afternoon, wherever you're coming from. I've got a little Menti question on the slide. Feel free to participate and share. What words would you use to describe a workplace that is psychologically safe for employees? And let me, here you go. Great. Yeah, I see some of you are sharing in the chat. Awesome. You're welcome to share on the screen as well. Let me get that link for you. Sometimes it's fun to see it on the screen too. And Margaret, that's a fantastic definition right there, where you're invited and expected to speak up if you have a concern, and leadership role models this behavior. Well, perfectly said. Yes, enjoyable, open communication. No power hoarding. Oh my gosh, yes. That's a great term, power hoarding. Listening, equitable, fantastic. And also feel free to share in the chat where you're coming from. I'd love to see where you all are at, where you're based out of. All right, North Carolina in the house. I used to live in South Carolina. Got a Carolina connection there. Chicago, nice. Massachusetts. I love it. We're all kind of spread out. So it is lunchtime, your time for some of you. So thanks for taking your lunch to do this workshop. San Francisco, Bay Area, wonderful. I'm going to give it one more minute to see if others join. We might be a small group today, and that is okay. It's summertime, people are on vacation and such, but this is actually a really good size group for us to participate and do some exercises together. I will give you a heads up that I will ask you to turn on your videos, so hopefully you're able to, if you're able to participate. I understand if you can't, but the exercises will be more enjoyable and experiential if you can participate via video. And also some of the exercises will involve speaking and interacting. So I want to give you that heads up that I will be doing that, but we'll ease into it. Don't worry. All right. Thank you all for sharing on the little Menti poll here. What words would you describe a psychologically safe workplace? And I think you all kind of hit it. So congratulations. You all know what a psychologically safe workplace is. No need to do the workshop, right? We're good. You all get it. But actually, it's a lot harder than that, right? It's easy to say, what a psychologically safe workplace is and what it should be, it is harder to do and it is harder to implement. We can talk a big game in our workplaces and organizations and say, yeah, I'm all about psychologically safety, but it really shows up in your interactions with people, how you respond to things, how you show up in meetings, how you show up, whether you're a leader or not, in whatever position you're in, how you show up really creates that psychologically safe workplace. So you all really touched on it here, and today is all about practicing how to have these skills and provide this environment. So thank you all. So hopefully you're in the right place. You are here for Practice Makes Progress. I see you all were not deterred by the improv word in there. I know improv can be a little scary. When we think of improv, we might think of like, whose line is it anyway? And, they're very talented, they're on TV, but actually I'm here to say that all of us are great improvisers. If you took a different route to work today, if you had a different morning routine, if you chose to eat something different today, if you veered off and did a little something different, you improvised and you are an improviser. So no need to be afraid. It's fine to be hesitant. Hopefully that hesitancy will go away as we get started. And I want to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Dana Gowan. I am a speaker, improviser, and a self-proclaimed facilitator of fun. I've coined that title because I truly believe that when we have fun, we learn best. It's more memorable. We take in and we experience things when we're having fun. And if it is a talking head type of presentation, you only get so much out of that. But I believe that you truly learn by doing and experiencing and gleaning and creating your own takeaways. And so that's what we're going to do today. I started taking improv classes. I have my master's of public health. I work as a wellness consultant full-time. I help companies with their employee wellness programs. And I started taking improv classes about 3.5 years ago or so. And I was immediately drawn to it. Just the skills of it were so fun. And there's 3 main tenets and principles of improv that I really loved right off the bat. And those are accept and build, 2, no mistakes, only opportunities, which for a big perfectionist like me, this was really huge to be allowed to explore and make mistakes. And it was okay. And actually learn from those mistakes and realize that there are no mistakes, there are only opportunities to learn and grow. So those principles of improv really helped me. And then number 3, make your scene partner look good. And, we live in a very competitive world, and in public health, I feel like we're more supportive, I would say, than general business, but it's still very competitive out there. We're all trying to do a good job, make a name for ourselves, make improvements in the health metrics we're trying to do. But what if we actually made each other look good and supported each other? Then our scene partners look good and we look good in the process. And I hadn't really been exposed to that type of supportive environment before. And all those things really help to create a psychologically safe environment. I was watching a presentation last year on psychological safety, and everything they were saying, I was like, oh, that's improv. Oh, that's what improv does. And I started to think, okay, well, this training is really telling us what psychological safety is and such, but how do we practice it? And that's where applied improvisation comes in. It allows us to actually practice these skills and learn through experience. So with that, I do want to set the psychological safety for this meeting. I want to make sure you all feel comfortable being here and participating. So I have a few ground rules, or I like to call them group agreements that we can all agree to. And I'll ask you to do that in the chat or give a little thumbs up reaction as we go through these. But a few group agreements. 1, it doesn't have to be funny. Notice in the title, it said creative play and applied improvisation. There was no mention of ever being funny. in the title. I know when you think of improvisation, you think of comedic improv, but actually the fun and the funny comes when you're being present and in the moment. Excuse me one second. Excuse me. I had a tickle in my throat. I want to encourage you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it. And that leads me to number 2. If the first thing that comes to your mind is not safe for work, then of course, go to the second thing that comes to your mind that is safe for work. I have no worries, no doubts with this, but I always like to make it clear, we are in a professional setting, so please keep it safe for work and be respectful. Number 3 is the biggest one for me. I hope for you all, be here, be open, and allow yourself to be a beginner. Some of these things might be new, some of them might be challenging, and that's okay. Let's just try it out. Allow yourself to just try something new today. And with that, have fun and enjoy yourself. And if at any time you do not want to participate in these activities, you are welcome to sit out or step out and just watch. If you do want to kind of step out, again, there will be no questions asked, but feel free to put an asterisk next to your name. So like I'm going to demo for mine, you can rename yourself using the little 3 buttons at the top right of your box. And just put 2 asterisks there. That tells me that you're not really trying to participate, or you want to listen in for this one. You want to step out. Again, no questions asked. Oh, and so I want to ask you all, can I get a physical thumbs up if you all agree to these agreements? You feel good about them? Excellent. Wonderful. Yes. All right, real quick, I just want to share with you the definition. Honestly, the words you put on the screen in the Mentimeter poll were fantastic and kind of essentially lead to this definition. This is from Amy Edmondson, as you know, probably, or if you're new, she has a book called The Fearless Organization. And in that book, it says, psychological safety is a shared belief held by members of a team that the team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. Also, it provides a sense of confidence that the team will not embarrass, reject, or punish someone for speaking up. This confidence stems from mutual respect and trust amongst team members. And so how can we create that environment where someone feels free to share and be themselves fully and kind of show up as themselves? And I'm not saying to show up as dressed in like pajamas, show up professionally, but show up just as who they are and confident in what they bring to the table, and knowing that what they bring to the table contributes to the team. And I think sometimes we fall short of that. So that's what we're going to work on today. Just a few things of what psychological safety is. Again, it's a team climate where members feel comfortable being themselves. Employees feel free to brainstorm out loud. This is one of my favorite principles of psychological safety. In my early career, I was a wellness coordinator for a large insurance company. I did wellness programs for the internal employees there. And I was very supportive. It was a great leadership team. But one thing is when they wanted ideas, they wanted the good ideas. They didn't want the fluff or like your half ideas. Like if they were asking for ideas, you needed to bring the 3 best ideas to the table. And I always struggled with that because then I felt like my ideas had to be perfect. And it kind of created a sense of like, okay, we'll only share if it's good kind of thing. And so when they would come to me and our team and be like, hey, what ideas do you all have? I was very hesitant to speak up at first. And I would say, well, don't put me on the spot. Like I need a day to mull it over. Let me think it through and I'll get back to you, because I needed to craft the perfect response. And I love this idea of brainstorming out loud. Give a half idea, like, hey, I don't know how this is going to work, but what if we did this? Great. Like, let's see where that can go. And really using brainstorming as a way to generate ideas and not stress test ideas. Also voicing half-finished thoughts, half-finished ideas, asking bold questions and challenging the status quo. sharing feedback, working through disagreements together, and really valuing honesty, candor, and truth telling, and realizing that every team member has each other's back, or to say another way, we make our scene partners look good. So I hope you can see a little bit of like how those principles of improv fit in. And today our focus areas are going to be letting go of perfection, active listening, and growth mindset. So we'll do some exercises around each of those areas, and and then you'll get to see how this can apply. And then also want to hear from you all. We're a small group today, so we might just do all the exercises here. I might use a few breakout rooms just to work in pairs, but otherwise, I want to hear your voices, and I want this to be an interactive experience for you. So let's do a little warm up, shall we? I've been talking a lot. Let's do a warm up. Let's play. So first we're going to do move stop, and I want to invite you, if you can, to turn on your video. I see Marina, Margaret, you have yours on. Allison, Misty, if you can, that'd be great. If not, I understand. I won't force it. But move stop, it's essentially like Simon Says. And I know you're not 3-year-olds, but it is essentially like Simon Says, although I won't say the Simon part. So when I say move, all you're going to do is just a little movement here, like any kind of movement. It can be big, it can be small, any kind of movement you want. Just like take up as much space or as little space as you want. All right, so let's try it. Move. And hi, Lamar, I see you just joined. We're doing a little warm-up game called Move Stop. And actually, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because now we're just doing exercises. You all don't need the slide anymore. Let's see our gallery view. So this is called Move Stop. So move. You can do anything you want. And stop. So stop, you can freeze, you can go neutral, whatever you want, but just it's a stop. So move. And stop. Stop. And move. Hopefully this gets us moving a little bit in our chairs too, a little warmed up action. Yeah, and stop. Great. All right, so you all got that because you're older than 3 years old. You know how to follow directions. Well done. Now let's do a little brain exercise. Move means stop now, and stop means move. All right, so move. Stop. Stop. Move. Move. Stop. Stop. And 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 we're just gonna do this for the next hour. Yeah. And move. Excellent. Nice work, everyone. So you feel good about that, right? Everyone's like, cool, I can follow directions. Let's add to it now. So now we're going to do clap means clap, and jump. And I know you're all sitting, so jump can be like a shrug of the shoulders. All right. And so remember, move means stop. Stop means move. Jump means jump. Clap means clap. All right. Clap. Jump. Move. Stop. Jump. Clap. Jump. Stop. Move. Clap. And jump. Excellent. Nice. All right. So you all got that very well. Now, again, let's flip it. I think you know where this is going, right? So move means stop. Stop means move. Jump means clap. Clap means jump. Ready? Let's try it. Jump. clap, move, stop, jump, clap, move, clap, move, jump, and stop. Yeah. You know I'm going to end on stop because stop is the most fun. And move. Excellent. All right. So you all are doing great. You're all really good at this. I can see you're like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to be so good at this. And you're doing great. You're crushing it. Let's add one more round to it just for fun and to make our brains explode on this Thursday. So now we've got twist. And real easy, don't hurt your back or anything, just a light twist. And a yeah. So you just like, yeah. You can kind of mime that. All right. So remember, move means stop, stop means move, jump means clap, clap means jump, twist means twist, yeah means yeah. Twist. Yeah. Move. Stop. Clap. Twist. Yeah. Jump. Twist. Yeah. Move. And stop. 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 Ooh, Vogue. Yeah, that's and move. All right. You know where this is going. We got one last round. You know what you have to do. Move means stop. Stop means move. Jump means clap. Clap means jump. Twist means yeah. Yeah means twist. Let's do it. Twist. Jump. Clap. Move. Yeah. Twist. 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 Jump. Clap. Stop. Yeah. Jump. Twist. Move. And stop. Oh yeah, we got the moves here. We got the moves here. We got the moves here. And move. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause for doing move stop. I know that feels silly, right? We're all professional, serious adults, and I'm asking you to like jump and twist and yeah, and like, what am I doing? And it feels silly, right? But it also, there's some lessons learned here. So I want to ask you, what did you notice when you made a mistake in that exercise? And this is a small group, so you're welcome to put in the chat. You're welcome to unmute and share too. So did you smile when you made a mistake, or were you like, I messed up?
Frustrated.
You're frustrated, yeah, because you wanted to get it right. Yeah. Marina said it felt funny. Did anyone smile when they made a mistake?
Yeah, I smile. I think too, with even when I made a mistake, everybody else looked silly. I didn't mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Lamar says it all felt silly, so I didn't put a lot into it. Awesome. Yeah. I saw some of you looking around, like checking out, okay, what are my peers doing? Am I doing this right? Am I on the right track? Perfectly fine. And I
I was stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a mistake and I was starting to get frustrated and I didn't understand the real purpose. So I actually just stopped because
Yeah,
it was starting to become more frustrating to me just because I couldn't keep up.
of course. Margaret, thank you for sharing, right? And that happens a lot. We get frustrated at things we either can't do, we don't understand why we have to do this, all and totally reasonable, right? And I didn't tell you, I purposely didn't tell you the point of it because I wanted you all to experience this for yourselves in a very low stakes environment, right? But this happens at work all the time. It's like, why are we doing this? And so I want to encourage you. Misty said, embarrass, smile, even though my camera didn't work, or we can't see Misty, but she did along with us. And if you did crack a little smile when you made a mistake, that's what I want to impress upon you today is like making mistakes are okay. I don't think any of us did that exercise perfectly. Even leading the exercise, I'm like, wait, I said move and they're not moving. And then, oh wait, we switched it, right? So none of us did that exercise perfectly, and you're not supposed to. Honestly, if you do it perfectly, then cool. But the point is, when you make a mistake, are you able to let go of perfection? Are you able to say, oh, I made a mistake there. Oh, I clapped instead of jumped. Oh, but now I know and I won't make that mistake again. Or, oh, I made a mistake and I actually laughed about it instead of going, stupid, 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 stupid. God, you're so stupid. I don't understand. And hopefully you all don't talk to yourselves that way. But I sure do, or I used to. I've gotten a lot better, but I used to really beat myself up over mistakes, big or small. I would really get on myself about mistakes and I would not let them go. And that affects you. That affects your mindset. So I want to encourage here, this is our warm up today, is a mindset of letting go of perfection. None of us are perfect. We don't need to be. We don't need to strive to be. Bring yourself here to the table and bring what you can. And also, here's your permission to mess it up, to mess up and have fun too in today's workshop. I want to do one more little warm up here. Now that we're we've kind of moved a little bit. Now we're going to move again. I want you to put in the chat some activities that we can do. Just within our box, like let's say we're going to do it's called Yes Let's, and you might say let's go swimming and we all go yes let's. You can say it on your screen, you can mouth it, it's fine, but we'll say yes let's, and then we're going to like mime the movement of swimming. And then I want you to keep putting in the chat or even on mute, you can say like let's go scuba diving, and then it's more diving, but maybe we like do another movement. Let's go jumping. I want this to like just go where it goes. So start putting some activities in there for us to play yes let's. Yeah, awesome. Let's go dancing. All right, so let's go yes let's, and let's go dancing. Need some music. Go disco, go disco, go disco, go disco. Let's go stretching. Yes, let's. Stretch. Oh, yeah. Oh, that feels good. Ooh, let's go boxing. Yes, let's. Let's pet our cats. Yes, let's. Get a little Dr. Evil going on. Ooh, let's go do our hair. Yes, let's. Lamar's like, what hair? You can do your hair too. Everyone can do their hair. A few more. Let's see. Let's go skydiving. Yes, let's. All right, last one. Let's have a drink of water, whatever is next to us. Oh, yes, let's. Mm. Let's have fun today. Yes, let's. Give yourselves a round of applause for playing Yes, Let's. I know it's hard to type in the chat when you're doing the exercises, so I was like, ooh, I'll make these up. This one's a really fun one in person. We can walk around the room and everyone kind of shouts out to like activities to do. And so what did it feel like to share an activity here and then see us all do it? Basically have your activity, your idea accepted.
I felt heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there were no questions asked. Like Marina didn't have a drink, but she ended up just, drinking an imaginary drink. Like, great. Yes, Lamar said yes, and in improv. We're going to get to that. Don't worry. But that's this is kind of the beginning steps of yes, let's explore what comes up, and then we accept everything. Let's go boxing. Oh, I have never boxed before in my life, but I could be like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and I can get all intense about it and like, yeah, this is cool. And so it's acceptance. It's basically full on acceptance of your ideas, hearing them, and then us doing them together as a group with no questions asked and no going like, no, I don't think that works on Zoom very well. No, we just did it. No thoughts or anything about it. We just did it. So I want to also ask you, did anything come up with sharing an activity? Were you trying to find like the best activity or, maybe a little fear of like judgment, like I need to put the coolest, funnest activity on there?
I put let's go stretching because I wanted to stretch.
Yeah.
But I also say seeing everybody else's, like when Lamar put let's go boxing, like I'm actually a kickboxing instructor. So I was like, oh, I'm finding ways to relate to people I've never met through Zoom.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, I feel a bit pressured to give a new idea too. I hear you, Misty. I will be putting you on the spot a little bit too. And that's okay. You all show up as you need to, and there's no right or wrong. Here's the thing. There's no right or wrong with any of these responses. Everything you all did and put in there was perfect. But sometimes we could compare ourselves, not that you did that, Ashley, but like, oh, well, Lamar put in boxing. Like, that's so much more fun than stretching. Oh, I wish I thought of that. I do this all the time. I'm comparing myself to others and I'm going, I wish I had thought of that, instead of being like, no, like my stretching might have spurred his boxing idea. And like we worked together as a team to build this up, instead of being like comparative so much. So we all work together to build that exercise. So thank you all. And I also want to just encourage, any limitations that you might have set on yourself with that exercise of like having to give the coolest one or the best idea. There are no limitations. There's no right or wrong here. Your ideas are important and need to be heard. And we want to hear them because it contributes to the exercise. So I hope you all felt that in Yes, Let's. All right, so now I want to play a little game, kind of adding to that letting go of perfection piece. We're going to play a game called Categories, and I'd like to just stay in this room. I know some people are having some internet troubles, but Allison and Misty, if you're able to unmute, that's great. If not, you can add to the chat. Let me see if I can set host order. Okay. Great. I'm going to rename people. Let me ask, who has had a birthday most recently? Like anyone's like, my birthday's coming up, or it was like really, it was really recent. Anyone had a really recent birthday? Allison, you've had a recent one? Lamar?
No, I was just nodding along. Like, oh, that's nice, Lamar. Happy early birthday.
Yeah. Okay. So Lamar, you're gonna be first to go. And then let's see, I'm just gonna rename here. Three. And 4. And Misty, I'm gonna put you as 5 if you can. Busting out your son. Happy early birthday, Lamar. That's wonderful. All right. Okay, so we're gonna play a game called Categories, and I've renamed you all to show the order that we're gonna go. And this is, we're gonna keep it simple, although we can get in our heads doing this. We're gonna do a categories game where, let's say the category is flowers. We're just gonna go around and name any kind of flowers that fit into that category. Daffodils, oak trees, magnolias, roses, tulips, lilies, lavender, what, the list goes on. Now, if it comes to you and you're like, I know all kinds of flowers, yet in this moment, I cannot think of a single flower to name and I don't know what to do. And I could feel the spotlight on me. I want you to go new category and take a bow. Or it could just be a simple like new category. And then you get to start a new category. Types of dogs, types of cheese, types of foods, movies that Tom Hanks is in, types of colors, animals, like there are no limits to the categories that we can do. So at any point that you cannot keep the category going, take a bow, new category, and you get to pick the category. And we're just gonna go in this order here, and I'll participate with you. I'll be number 6. All right, so Lamar, your birthday's coming up. You wanna pick the category?
Oh, you said flowers.
Flowers, yep. All right.
Oh. It's on me?
Yeah, go ahead, name one first.
Peonies.
Ooh, peonies.
Poppies.
Daisy.
Tulip.
Misty, are you, oh, roses. Yeah, nice. Oak trees.
Sunflowers.
Calla lilies.
Lavender.
Poppy.
Ooh, begonias. Basil.
Tulips.
And if anything gets repeated, like give a wave if we can remember.
Was tulips?
I don't think it did.
Okay,
I don't think
okay.
it did. I'm just saying.
Orchids.
New category.
And we'll all applaud when you give a new category.
I can picture flowers, but I can't think of names of them. So Disney movies.
Ooh, you start naming one first.
My favorite. Tangled.
Cinderella.
Beauty and the Beast. Missy said Aladdin.
That's what I was gonna say. Cinderella. That was Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
I think you said that, right, Ashley?
Marina said that.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
I'm
take
sorry.
a bow, Lamar. Take a bow.
Oh, what does that mean?
And now new category.
Oh, I had other ones. I just
You could say new category and
Oh no,
say
that's
one.
fine. New category, books.
Ooh.
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Empire of Pain. I don't know the author.
That's okay.
How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi.
Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
Nice. Who moved my cheese?
I like that
Yes.
one.
The dictionary.
Siddhartha by Herman Hesse.
The Cadaver King and the Country Dentist by Falco and Farragut.
I love it. Or people like looking around the room.
Yeah, I'm looking at my bookshelf.
Yeah, I have millions, so I'm good.
I can't read that far. Harry Potter.
The Water Dancer.
The
Excuse me.
Firm. Lord of the Rings. All
Oh,
of them.
The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin.
Why We're Polarized by Ezra Klein.
Pained, uncomfortable conversations about the public's health.
Ooh, that's good.
A good one.
I'm blanking.
Just call it
New
If you're blank-
category.
new category. Take a bow. We'll
Favorite color.
ooh,
Yellow.
orange, purple,
Green.
Blue.
Pink.
Lavender.
black, teal,
Turquoise.
Olive green.
Red.
Tangerine.
amber, magenta.
Oh, you keep taking the ones I was about to say. Tan.
Brown.
Gold.
Silver.
Peach, platinum,
Gray.
New category.
yeah.
Let's see. Movies.
Ooh,
I'm going to use my Disney movie, Mulan.
One I just watched. A Man Called Otto. Tom Hanks.
nice.
Forrest Gump.
Pretty Woman, Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Friday.
Tar.
Spider-Man.
Wonder Woman.
The Hulk, Tenet.
Super bad. Y'all can tell the type of stuff I watch.
The Dark Knight.
Avengers.
Spider-Man.
We say Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, take a bow, Marina.
Did I? Okay.
And we'll call it there. Nice job, everyone. You all are really good at flowers. I was like, basil, because that's an herb. But sometimes if you say it with conviction, you won't question it, but it was not a flower, kind of. I don't know. Nice work. How did you all feel? You all did really well with this, by the way. Sometimes when we get put on the spot, like we know hundreds of movies, we know hundreds of books, and yet you're put on the spot. It's like, I've never said a book title in my life before. And it can feel hard to kind of have that moment on you. So you all handled it really well. How did it feel when you took a bow and had to admit, okay, I don't know, new category? And I think almost all of you, Misty's the reigning champ, but everyone else had to take a bow at some point.
How did it feel to have to change category?
Yeah, like to admit that you don't know, or like I don't know and I want to change categories, and you took that bow. How did that feel?
I mean, I would say for me, I think that I um and it so I guess it's some talk. I wasn't really paying attention. So I didn't hear her say the one I said, Cinderella. So
Uh-huh.
it was more admitting that I wasn't paying attention than like not having a movie type thing. So
Hmm.
that was, my faux pas.
Which is still like a mistake, right? Like
Yeah,
you
for
still have
sure.
to admit you
Mhm.
like, okay, hey, I messed up. Um, you all embraced it though, right? Everyone took a bow. And what did we do? We applauded for you when you all made a mistake. Anyone else feel that relief when you're like, oh, like I'm just gonna take a bow, and is there kind of like a relief there?
Yeah, I felt that when I couldn't think of a category and I just said new category. And when I couldn't think of an example.
Yeah.
Okay, I can just move on. I'm blanking on that. I can move on to something else. So it was I got a pass.
Yes. And I hope you all see that we created a supportive environment here for you all to try and also fail. You all had to take bows. If you all didn't, I was about to with the flowers because I was naming literally herbs at this point. So, but we all messed up, and yet we were all supported, and it wasn't that bad. And then we got to explore new categories when someone did mess up. So the idea here is that mistakes happen, and these are very low stakes mistakes right now. I know in our work and our jobs, there are higher stakes mistakes that can happen. How do we handle that when we mess up, or someone that we know, a coworker or someone that we lead, or in whatever capacity, when someone else messes up? How do we handle that?
Was that rhetorical?
Either one. It could be rhetorical,
Oh,
or it could be, I mean, like, anyone notice anything when someone else makes mistakes, or you make a mistake in a higher situation? Are you willing to admit as much that you made a mistake?
me? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't personally view mistakes as I've grown and matured. I don't view mistakes the same way. Um, I view them as an opportunity to learn and get another perspective. So, while I may be down on myself for a second, um, I don't spend a bunch of time down anymore. So because I'm able to um, see, okay, that's how, or that's what they mean, and I'm a therapist, so like that's kind of part of what I do every day. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, trying to see the other perspective or find other alternatives. And when I'm doing, consulting and stuff like that, it's the same thing. Like, okay, how else can we look at this? So mistake is just an opportunity to learn. That's how I look at it now. And I coach basketball, so it's like
It-
if I harp on every mistake, they're not going to get better. So I have to like find a way to use that as a way to teach.
It's so true. I used to coach youth volleyball, and I would tell them, like, I don't want you to worry about making mistakes, but I want you to try to do the right form, in a sense, like learning like why that mistake happened. So like my arms weren't angled enough, or like I didn't move my feet enough.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to learn that way. But I will say I didn't always do a good job in
For
coaching of
sure.
like
No, yeah.
getting that idea across. So sometimes for them, it might look like, as I'm telling them, like, hey, angle your arms, it might be like, oh, they're always getting on me for making a mistake.
Right.
And so it's how we present it. It's how we create this culture and environment of support and, embracing mistakes and learning from them. So Lamar, you said, you've had to learn it as you've grown and matured, you've learned it. And so hopefully you've had someone, you've been in situations where it's been supported. But some people don't have those situations, and they might feel constantly berated, and then so they're nervous to even make mistakes. Misty said in the chat, I try hard to make the situation better. I hate when mistakes impact others. Yeah. I'm definitely a people pleaser. I'll admit that. I don't like when mistakes happen. I don't like to I don't like criticism. You know, I mean, we're humans. We have big egos. We don't like when we're wrong. But we are wrong some of the times and a lot of the times. So it's a matter of like in your work, whether you work with others or you work for yourself, you work with yourself, you know, how are you treating yourself and others when mistakes happen? And are you using it as a teaching moment to learn from it and grow? Or are you scared to make mistakes? Because I'll tell you, if you're scared to make mistakes and you're scared of, you know, impacting others, innovation stops, creativity stops. Innovation and creativity flows when we feel free to share our ideas, even if they're not right or there are mistakes. So I hope that all came across in that very simple exercise of categories. All right, I want to do another exercise. I see Ashley had to step away, all good. For you all listening, and then let's keep the same order. And I'm just going to move Ashley right now since she's had to step out. We're going to do an active listening game. So this is to help with our listening and communication skills. And let's keep the same order for purposes here. So what we're gonna do is you're just gonna say a word. Lamar, you can start us off. You're gonna say a word, whatever letter that ends with that word, the next person is going to start their word with that letter. So for example, we might say cheese. Cheese is on the mind today. Cheese, exactly. Yes, let's, sure. And let's try to like let it go quickly if we can. And so it's just the last letter of that word, you make that first letter of your word.
And we're saying
Sound
yes,
good?
let's too.
You can make it 2 words. You can.
Oh no, I thought you said yes, let's. I just want to make sure I understood the rule.
No, I was Y was the letter, so I was just like, yes, let's.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
It was a stream of consciousness that
Roger that.
was
Okay.
flowing there.
All right.
Yeah, so let's Lamar starts off with the word.
Gratitude.
Empathy.
Perfect. Oh, we don't have a 3, so Marina, you're the 3.
Your word was empathy, Allison.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Super. Ridiculous.
Stupendous.
Support.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Support.
Touch.
YOLO.
Optimal.
Listen.
Nice.
Yum. All right, and we'll stop it there. Now, same thing. Now it's in sentence form. Just kind of stream of like, just how was your day today? Yes, I went to the store. Exactly. I like the store. So just kind of with that last letter that ends the sentence, you're going to start your sentence. It doesn't have to be a super response like to what was said. If it makes sense, great. If not, that's okay. But we're just listening for that last letter.
I need to say a sentence.
A sentence.
The last letter of my sentence, Allison will start her sentence with.
Yes.
And then the last letter of your sentence, I'll start the next sentence with.
Correct.
Roger that. I'm happy.
Y'all go out there and have a great day.
Yes, let's do it.
Today is great. True. Oh my gosh, it is the best day ever.
Right on.
No frowns over here.
Everyone join in.
No worries. So I am so excited about this weekend. I'm going to clean my house. It is going to be the greatest weekend in the history of weekends. And I am just so looking forward to it.
This weekend is my birthday weekend, so I will be hanging out with my wife, and I will be having a nice party Sunday evening.
Great. Are we invited?
Oh, I'll answer when we come back around.
Doing great on this side as well. I'm looking forward to the weekend and having some outside time.
Everyone should enjoy the weekend. Duh, that's what weekends are for. They're great. And we'll end it there.
Oh, okay.
But Lamar, what's your response?
You said is there that yeah, perfect. Everybody's invited.
I love it. All right, one more round, except I'm gonna put a little challenge here. So we're gonna do news headlines now. Same thing, it's kind of like creating like a headline, but the last word of the headline is how you start your headline. So everyone is invited. Invited guests to the party cause a big disruption. Disruption happened today in the stock market. Market falls fast with all the stocks.
For the last word.
It's the last word now. And then you start a new headline for the news.
With the last word.
Yeah. Lamar, are you okay starting a headline, or you want someone else to go first?
No, I got it.
Yeah.
In the news today, there was a submarine found with missing people.
People are excited for the weekend and Lamar Lewis's birthday party. News at 7.
Your last word was party.
Yeah.
Ashley, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go?
Sorry, I put the number back, but then I realized I shouldn't. Keep
Oh,
going.
all good.
Okay.
Oh, you're Ashley, so you'll be 6th.
Party takes up entire block.
Locked street causes traffic problems. Problems in the government remain an issue. And then, yeah, Ashley, be here.
A headline starting with the word issue. Issues arise when local government passes new budget.
Budget freeze in the Senate and House causes a disruption to the debt ceiling. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Debt ceiling.
Yeah.
Ceiling collapse prevented by responsive engineers.
Engineers fix problem in building structures.
Structures collapse, no injuries involved. Involved persons create a, what is the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. Involved persons create a scene causing traffic to back up for miles.
Miles of fans waited in line to enter the Taylor Swift concert.
Concerts are known places for increased drug use and human trafficking.
Trafficking remains a concern in the San Francisco Bay Area.
All right, we'll stop it there. Nice work, everyone. That was fun. Nice creativity. I literally could not think of strike. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, strike. I was like, what is the word? And I'll just take a bow there. So this is a really fun, thank you, Marita. This is a fun exercise to do. I know it might seem simple, right? Like last letter, first letter. But did you have to pay attention in this one? Even if someone had a long diatribe of words, I did that on purpose. You have to listen till the end to see what the last letter is, right? And then the news headline gets a little harder or interesting because it's like the word, and then you create it. So I love this as a tip for communication and listening. So when you're listening to someone talk, are you listening to respond and give your response? Or are you listening to hear what they have to say and then trust that you can craft your response when they're finished? Anyone notice anything when they're speaking and talking with people, what they do?
Sometimes I think it's hard to listen because I'm already thinking what my response is, right?
And you're not alone, Marina. I think we're all guilty of that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I just ate something. Is there something in my teeth? Like, what is my face? Am I making eye contact? Am I making enough eye contact? Am I making too much eye contact? Should I look away? All these thoughts are going through my head while somebody is talking to me. Lamar, so you had your hand up?
Yeah. I just wanted to add, I mean, that's what I've learned. The biggest part of therapy is just really shutting up and listening, and then trying to tease out, various things in the conversation. What I would say is that I think it also depends on the setting. It's far easier to do with, a client or whatever than it is with maybe my spouse or, my kids or whatever. So I think it depends on the setting as well. Even for somebody who's quote unquote trained in it, it's still hard depending on where I'm at emotionally, mentally, things like the conversation, like the context plays a big part in it.
For sure. Yeah. And if you're finding that it's hard to focus with someone and they're talking, try this last letter, first letter, just so that you keep the focus at least. And you're like, okay. And then, maybe you don't have, because they might not, like someone responds like, today is the last one. You're like, yes. And they're like, what? Like, if it doesn't make sense, it's fine. You don't actually have to do the exercise. But like, listen to their last word, their last letter, like that period, to then respond to it. And I this can happen in meetings a lot, or certainly with clients. You're like, I have a response ready, but now they've moved on and they've talked about something else. Is it okay to go back to that thing? Like, and one, it is, but also like, well, maybe it's moved on too, and you don't have to go back to that thing. You can now listen to what's being said presently and respond to that. Listening's hard, but it creates a better environment when we just sit and listen and not listen to respond right away. Like if we give people the freedom to share their thoughts and then like allow them to stop, Now, some people talk a lot, so, and I'm guilty of this too. Some people talk a lot. So there's an art of interruption as well, but you have to feel it. And we certainly don't want to cut people off when they're sharing ideas too. Anything else come up for you all as we're talking about listening and kind of how hard it is, but also like some tools to help with that?
For me, because I have ADHD, it's extra hard to not want to interrupt because you don't want to lose the thought. So if I can't like literally write a note, similarly to what you're saying, I just try to remember the key thing I wanted to say. I'm still paying attention, but I have to say, oh, ceilings, ceiling, 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 so that when there is a space to talk, I can at least keep that word, and that word will help hopefully trigger, the appropriate response that I may have had. So that just helps me if I can't like interrupt or interject at that time. If I can't like write down a little crib note, then I just say a word over and over.
That's a
Being trained to feel.
fantastic tip. Yeah. And yeah, we want to give people the space, but then you're like, okay, like mental note, but you're still listening. And I think also, like, I find if I'm like typing or I'm working on something, someone comes into my office, or like even I work from home a lot, my husband comes in and he wants to tell me something, I'm still typing. And I'm like, I'm not listening to a word he's saying. And so sometimes it's like, I need to stop what I'm doing or say, hey, I'm working on something, let me finish. But I really can't do two things at once and give my full attention to this person if I'm focused on this thing. So it's like realizing like, what's your attention on? So you all gave your full attention to that exercise because we wanted to look right and we wanted to get it right. We wanted to do that exercise well. So let's do listening well and give our full attention to the person talking, and allow us and trust ourselves we'll respond when they're finished too. Oh my gosh, Misty. Yes, that's so true. Sometimes I forget people may not want a response or my advice. They just want to be quiet. They want me to be quiet and listen, then they want to have the space to talk. So sometimes not interrupting people and just giving them the space to share and like flesh out ideas and talk through ideas. Oh my God, it's sometimes people need that space, and it can happen at work too. And people need the space to share, in the right time and environment and such. But solutions or support is the question I've learned to ask. Yeah. And we don't get there if we're not listening. So if you're like kind of multitasking, you're like half listening to somebody, you might be like, okay, I'll respond to them real quick. But that you don't think to ask solutions or support. Hey, do you want a solution, or do you want support now? So listening goes a long way. It's a huge thing, and it really helps create psychological safety at work, when you're talking to people, interactions at home too. So I hope you can see the value of that. All right, I want to move on. Yes, thank you all for sharing in the chat too. I want to move on and play a yes and exercise. So, it's June. There's lots of good stuff going on this month. It's Pride Month. Juneteenth just was this week. I think it's Men's Health Awareness Month for our health awareness folks. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. And it is the perfect time to volunteer. So we're going to plan a volunteer day together. And we're just going to do it together in this room. I'm going to switch around the order. And actually, we'll stay in the same order, but we'll start with like number 3 and we'll go on that way. So what we're going to do is I want someone to throw out a volunteer activity we can do. So Marina, I'll look to you to start a volunteer activity that we can do. And then we're all just going to, we'll go in order of our numbers. We're going to respond with no, because. No, that won't work because this. We should do this instead. No, that won't work because, or no, because blank. And you can add to it, say we should do this instead, something, and just give another idea. All right. So Marina, where should we go volunteer this month together?
I think we should volunteer at the local food pantry.
And Missy, this might be a lot of typing for you, and we will wait for your response. It's all good. No, that won't work. They aren't open on the weekends. I agree. No, that won't work because we're all spread out everywhere. So which food pantry would we even pick? We should just do a virtual donation to a food pantry.
Oh, so do I add a new volunteer activity at the end?
You can.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a virtual donation. No, that won't work because inflation is so high, everything costs money and nobody has extra money to give right now. So we should make a flyer.
Took my thing about the money. Well, no, you said make a flyer.
Make a flyer. Mhm.
No, because flyers still cost money, and I don't have it. I'm not gonna have it. I'm not ever gonna have it. No, and if I can add to that, I don't have the time. I suggest everybody do what they do wherever they at and do it like that.
And let's skip Allison. She had to step out. So Marina, what's your response to everyone do what they need to do?
No, that won't work because that doesn't bring us together as a group. And we need to find something that we can all do together. So I would suggest that we all pick a time that we can do a volunteer activity at the same time, even if it's in our own communities.
Everyone's hanging on to like Misty's words here. I love it. The suspense. No, that won't work because I'm in a different time zone. I suggest we all do something in our own community and share it later as a group. No, that won't work because then we've got to like go through everyone's schedules and find the time and like, are we going to find the right time that works for everyone? So we should just share it over email what we did instead.
No, sharing it over email won't work because nobody checks their email anymore. So what about social media?
No, because I hate social media. Let's do regular media.
Let's do regular media.
Yeah,
Great. All
yeah.
right, let's stop there. So that was no because. Now I want to do the same thing. So Marina, you'll give your same idea. Let's do the local food bank. Now this time we're going to respond with yes and see where that gets us.
So I recommend that we all volunteer together at the local food bank.
And so Missy, you'll respond with yes and add your idea to that local food bank idea. Yes, and let's all wear matching shirts so we stand out. Yes, and then we can get the news involved and do a whole media campaign, regular media campaign about our volunteer efforts as a group and how we're helping the community.
Yes, great idea. And we can also put it on our website so everybody knows what our employees stand for.
Yes, and we can create a statement about how important volunteering is to us in our organization that we can disseminate within the company or the agency or whatever this is, organization, and in the community.
Maya?
Yes.
Yes, and we should also work on recruiting more people from the company to join us.
Yes, and they can bring their spouses and family members and kids to do the volunteer activity too.
Yes, and I'm gonna let Misty chime in.
Oh my gosh, Missy, I'm so sorry. Please, so respond to mine if you're responding to Marina's, respond however you need to. Thank you, Ashley. I got so excited because I had a response for that one. Yes, and let's make it an annual event. So good, Ashley.
Yes, and I can have some of my students from the school come and get volunteer hours too.
Yes, and we can highlight the students and make sure that they get volunteer hours that can go towards credits towards graduation.
Go ahead, Marina, one more response.
Yes, and we should ask the food pantry what else we can do to contribute to the community.
Fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause for doing that. Coming up with a great volunteer activity in mind. I feel like it's pretty clear, yes, and definitely helps get the brainstorming juices flowing, right? How did it feel to say no because to the ideas?
Did you ask how did it feel to say no?
Yeah, how did it feel when we had to say no because?
Terrible.
Right?
Yes, and is like one of my biggest values, personally and professionally. So
Yes.
I personally did not let. I was like felt bad saying no because it's against
Right?
what I believe.
It's almost like the energy dipped in the Zoom room.
Yes.
Like I almost was like, should I cancel this exercise? Like no one's having fun here. Oh no. But
Yeah.
we felt it, right? Like it's like, oh, this feels icky. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes. Icky is a good word.
Did we get far in our planning when we said no because?
No, it just was one blockade after another.
Mm-hmm. So how did
It
it?
was very
Go ahead, Lamar.
non-productive. No, I was going to just add, it's very non-productive, unproductive, whatever. It's just, and I think we've all sat in meetings like that where a person always has a better answer and is not adding to anything. It's more so my answer is right, your answer is wrong, and then that becomes a whole thing within itself.
And yeah, they're like, well, that's wrong, but maybe they don't give solutions or like other ideas. They just kind of block it, like, no, because, and I call it stress testing. When you're like stress testing an idea and you're like, well, no, then that creates more work for this group and more work for this group, blah, blah, blah. And stress testing is important because obviously when you actually have to implement the idea, you have to figure out the right processes to implement it, right? But you don't need to say no because at the beginning, the brainstorming phases. So it's really clear to delineate, hey, friends, coworkers, we have this problem, this issue that we're trying to create a solution for. We're trying to generate ideas. This is a yes and environment. All ideas welcome. We're just going to say yes and now. We will stress test them later to get the right processes. And I don't think we do that enough in meetings in general as a whole society. Saying yes and, how did you all feel saying that, right? It feels better. It's much more energy in the room.
Yeah, like Ashley said, I live by that. Like I even find myself when I'm talking to people, I'll say but, and I'll be like, and I'll try to, even incorporate that in my daily speech. So I think it's just, I'm just big on collaboration and building. And so I try not to use language even in my day to day that can tear that down.
Absolutely. I skipped it for time purposes, but there's a middle one, yes, but, which is essentially like no, because it's just like the passive aggressive way to say no, because we'll be like, yes, I heard you, but let's do this idea more, or like, yes, but that won't work, because it's basically no, because just framed in a different way. And it really does, yes, but doesn't help at all, generate ideas. Yeah, I miss you. It sounded like a staff meeting. No, we can't do that because, but what if we had meetings where, and I think it's important to establish the safety in meetings and say, hey, this is fully a brainstorming meeting. Half ideas welcome, not fully fleshed out ideas welcome. Bring your ideas to the table and let's just say yes and to them. And you know what? Maybe the idea comes at like the fourth or fifth yes and, but we don't get to that if we are blocking it with no, because. And certainly like this is great for brainstorming, but you all are talking about having a mindset shift. This goes beyond just brainstorming. This is a whole mindset perspective shift too. Anything else to add? We are done with our exercises. Anything else to add before I'm going to share a few slides to wrap up, but any big takeaways? Like, how do you see all of this fitting in to your workplace?
I think some of these exercises would be good. Icebreakers. We do a lot of training in our organization, and I think just warming people up and getting them comfortable with each other. You could do them quickly, so I can envision using a few of these strategies.
Yeah, and Marina, I'll add, we didn't get to some of them, but like with that yes and exercise, another one that we could do after that, and kind of once you get the yes and idea in everyone's minds, I wanted to do, hey, we have someone name a room. I love it. That's the Second City book, Lamar. I see it. You could say, someone name a room. And like when someone might say kitchen. Okay, and let's build this room. What's in this room? Pots and pans. What's on the walls? And everyone takes a turn building a reality in a world that doesn't exist. It's all we're creating it in our heads. But we're saying yes and to like building this reality together, and it kind of gets us on the same page. And then we could talk about like, who would cook in this room? Who would use this room? What kind of person uses this room? And it's a very like world building skill there. So that's a fun one to do with that yes and mentality.
I just wanted to add that I do a lot of trainings, like outside of the therapy. I do like a lot of soft skills trainings and stuff like that for public health workers. And I'm always trying to find like new ways to engage and new ways to interact. So I some of these I've used differently. But I think the way you did it and conveyed it, I think would be very helpful, especially when it comes like team building and even creating a culture of communication and building, I think would be dope. So
yeah,
helpful.
Just for idea generating, if we had more time, time is always my enemy, but that's okay. We got through exactly what we were meant to get through today, so that's perfect. Another one I wanted to do after this was build a tower. So at your desks, I was going to give you all 2 minutes to build a tower, any kind of structure within arm's reach. So you can't get out of your desk, but just like build whatever you can for 2 minutes at your desk. And the idea is to say yes and to yourself. You may not be a tower sculpture builder in your professional life, but how can you say yes and to the challenge, yes and try it? And you usually surprise yourself with that. So sorry we didn't get to that one, but I'm trying to give you all ideas, since it sounds like you all lead trainings and such. that's a really fun one to end on. I've seen people start with it too, but I actually like to end on it because we've got the yes and juices flowing. It kind of leads to that yes and mindset.
Can I ask you a question, Dana?
Of course, please.
Is it, I see that you're recording the meeting, but is it possible, like, can we, I guess two questions. Can we use the activities that you gave us today? And can we get like a list of them for instructions?
That's a great question. So I do have a presentation I'll share with you all after, or I'll share with the IHA team to share, but I actually like to use Session Lab since like a lot of us are trainers and such. I like to use, so let me actually share like what Session Lab looks like. And I could share this with you all too, so you can see like what my process was. You all are seeing that, right? Yeah. So I got introduction and then the games. And then on the right-hand side, I have like lessons learned for the debrief. So like instructions here, takeaways, group instructions, and then debrief takeaways. So I'm happy to share this. All of these exercises I have gotten from other people. It's like, it's a game of improv telephone. We're all using the same exercises, but they can all be used in amazing different ways. And it's like Lamar said, it's all about how you frame it up and what exercises, what takeaways and skills you're trying to highlight. So use all these. My one recommendation is do not go into a meeting and just be like, hey, we're going to play improv games now. Set the safety, use this like, hey, I saw something, I want to try it. There's no right or wrong, just be here, be open, give those kind of group agreements to really set the safety before you do these exercises. And also, if you're leading any of these, allow for silence. It takes a long time for people to think, especially if you're like, hey, how did you feel doing that? People may be like, me? You want me to respond? It can take up to 7 seconds or more for people to respond. So just allow for that silence. So I'm happy to share this with you all. Session Lab is free too. I really like how it's laid out. It's free. You can make like 10 different sessions on there and then you have to pay for it. But I just use a different email address to keep doing 10 of them. I know we're right at time. I want to just share with you all real quick, why this worked today. And I think you all can tell, but in these exercises, these were very low stakes. Like we literally played Simon Says, and you all are grown adults. You don't need to be playing Simon Says. And yet we got some cool takeaways from it. You all learned to let go of perfection. We got to plan a volunteer activity together. And hopefully we'll get to implement it one day because it was a really good idea. We're all spread out on the East Coast, Midwest, West Coast, and yet we made a really nice connection today over Zoom because we got to share and because I didn't just talk and yap at you the whole time, or at least I hope you don't feel like I did that. These are very simple games. I call them fun, but for those who are too serious, I call them simple. These are simple exercises that allow you to experience, hopefully, some very profound takeaways. And, I laughed and had fun. I hope you all did, which creates a memorable experience too for us. And then two follow-up items. I'll share this presentation with you. I have a few things, benefits of improv. Yes, and is a growth mindset. It's essentially like another term for growth mindset and listening. And our 3 main focus areas today were growth mindset, active listening, and and letting go of perfection. And yet we still connected with others. We trusted ourselves. We had communication and collaboration skills. So we actually did a lot today with just those 3 focus areas too, which is beautiful. And yes, and is just the best tool ever. Some of you said it's your personal motto and stuff, so keep it because it's amazing. And Ashley, there's a ton of books too on applied improv out there. happy to share some others too. I haven't read that Yes and book, but it's on my list. I
Good.
know it's good.
And it has it has a bunch of exercises. I just found this out like a few months ago, looking for like icebreakers. They have a bunch of the exercises in the back, and they break down what you're supposed to do and all of that. So it's worth it just to have, that little glossary of exercises and stuff. So.
And a lot of these are all improv exercises. A lot of people won't call them improv exercises. They'll just call them like skill building and essential skills, because sometimes people are turned off from that improv word. So I'm not saying to hide it. I personally, like, I'll put it out there, we're going to do improv exercises, but maybe you don't put it in the title, and then you can tell them there, you can tell them later, hey, guess what, you all did improv. It's whatever your personal style is that you want to do. But I will share this all with you all. Here's my contact information too. So if any of you all want to chat, it sounds like some of you all want to lead these exercises or are trying to lead them. So always happy to collaborate too. That is what improv is all about, is collaboration. No one's gatekeeping these exercises. They're all out there for us to use and learn. And so I just want to encourage you all to use these exercises how you want. And I hope you see how it fits with psychological safety too. So thank you all. I know I went 2 minutes over, but I appreciate it. You will get a survey from the IHA team to fill out later. And yeah, I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope it was fun. I had a blast with you all. So thank you for sharing a bit of yourselves today.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, Lamar, too.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes.
Thank you. I'm putting the little book title in the chat in case anybody wants it. My handwriting is I mean, I'm trying to type it fast. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, and by Kelly Leonard and Tom Yorton. There's also Training to Imagine. I'll share a few books too. Yeah. Wonderful job, everyone. Give yourselves
Thank
a
you.
hand and take care. Have a nice week and weekend.